What is up, everybody? My name is Brandon and I'm coming back at you with another video. I have no joy for making these drum education videos that I've been making for a while. So I'm gonna try some new type of stuff here. Don't worry, there's gonna be drums in the video. I'm sitting at a drum set to keep it drum related to this channel. I do still like the drums, I do still like drum education, but I cannot bring myself to... Anyway, this is going to be, yeah, I'm just trying something new out. Hopefully not too alienating. This is just going to be my favorite albums, my favorite, or I guess releases or projects from this year. Just to kind of hopefully give you something new to watch, something new to listen to. My coffee has fully kicked in now. You'll kind of see my transformation throughout the course of this video. I was drinking my morning coffee while recording this video, which is a huge mistake, and I'll never do that again. I've already recorded the video. I literally just stopped the recording, and I'm coming over here to record this disclaimer now. Okay, next thing, here's the other part of the disclaimer, the copyright. I want to play very, very, very short snippets of songs to hopefully avoid any copyright claims, whatever. On this video, but I do want to, give you at least some sort of sense of what the songs sound like that I'm talking about. Anyway, I don't know if this is going to get copyright claims or whatever, so if anything, if it looks like there was music there and then it got cut out, I probably had to cut it out in the YouTube thingy where you can cut out music, so just don't freak out. But yeah, anyway, let's get into this stupid video now. I think this is going to be funny. So hopefully you enjoy this and hopefully find some new music to dig on. What is up, everybody? My name is Brandon and I'm coming back at you with another video here today. I'm drinking my coffee, so you'll probably see my mood generally rise throughout this program here. For a little background on this little video project here, I'm basically just going to talk about my 10 favorite albums that were released in 2021. Several years ago, I made a New Year's resolution, the only one I've ever kept, to listen to 10 just banging ass albums, that by the end of the year, I would be like, those are in my heart and my mind here. And it's not just like I listen to them and then like objectively, they're pretty good. I think anyone would like this album. No, hell no, man. These are with me 10,000 plays each on each album. I love them. And then, so what I like to do is I like to make an end of the year list. It's something that I've been doing, and I just post on Twitter, Tumblr, or whatever. Social media was most popular for me, or most consumed for me at the time. And here are some examples of lists from the past, some past lists. 2021, here we are, banging ass year for music. Let's get this bitch going. First album, Left to Suffer, On Death. Hard as just deathcore album, just really banging, groovy, hard. This was the first like heavy album that I got into this year. Obviously not the first heavy album of all time. I've got history listening to some heavier stuff, but yeah, man, just super groovy. A lot of the breakdowns and stuff actually have some I don't know what it is about it. It's not just like beat you to death, like some of the other stuff. Well, one other album on this list. It just keeps kind of the whatever that is going. It's short, it's quick. I think it'd probably be more considered an EP. But yeah, first release, Left to Suffer, On Death. The next album, number 9, IU, Lilac. Complete opposite, right? My K-pop queen goddess, IU, coming out with this banger, just kind of like lots of kind of almost like retro sounding, maybe not totally retro, but just like some old style sounding, like some 80s ballads type stuff, some pop stuff, just some more straight ahead pop, funk, well, maybe not funk totally, but just, kind of like that disco inspired influences throughout this thing here. Let me actually take a listen to this. I got the list pulled up so that I can remember how these albums go. Oh, I hate that song. Oh, I hate this song. Oh. Yeah, now that, now that I kind of thought about it, it's almost like lo-fi in a way almost. I don't know. It's interesting for sure. IU, Lilac, number 9. Number 8. Some Jameson, man. You knew Jameson was going to be on this list. Heals Me. All, you know, all them sexy time songs. I don't have to say too much about it. If you're into the, you know, the white boy R&B type stuff, soul R&B, not super poppy. But just, yeah, I love the instrumentations, the production on it. The drums always sound great. The balance is a little whack on some of the songs. But like, just, you know, in terms of like, you know, drums might be a little too loud, whatever. But in general, I really Number 7, Suicide Boys, Long-Term Effects of Suffering. Suicide Boys, little weird. They're going through their changes, as it were, and it's weird. They've been around for a minute. They've been doing their thing for a minute. Thankfully, this is, I think, a stronger release than their album from last year. There's not as much just kind of like half-ass singing over the, you know, just kind of some beats, and then it's like, I guess we'll just sing on it, huh? But the issue with this album, I think, what kind of kept it from being higher, there are two things. Fantano said one really well in his review of this album, that it's almost like they seem to be allergic to writing hooks or good hooks on this album, which I totally agree with. And then also just kind of the pacing is a little bit weird. There's kind of some like mid to low energy songs which is fine. You know, the low energy stuff I really dig. That's honestly some of my favorite stuff. Yeah, like $5,000 at 8 to 1. Is like, you know, not like low energy necessarily, but just, you know, kind of what they're putting out there isn't like that kind of stuff comparatively. But it's, you know, it's good. I think, yeah, just really they kind of could have trimmed the fat and maybe put some more effort into some, you know, some hooks, and this easily could have climbed up a couple spots on the album list here. Next, Kenny Hoopla and Travis Barker, Survivor's Guilt mixtape. So that's fate, that's life, when you're swimming in the... I'd never heard of Kenny Hoopla before. I did not like this album the first 3 or 4 times I listened to it, but something kept me coming. Well, I'll tell you what it was. It was the production. I'm assuming Travis Barker did all the, you know, or, you know, a lot of the engineering and stuff on this. I didn't really do my research or anything, but man, the drums sound so good on this album. I texted my boy, like as soon as I heard this album, and I was like, listen to this, like either somewhere where you've got like really good headphones or good stereo or something. These are some of the best sounding drum recordings I've ever heard in my entire life. They sound so good. They're super punchy, especially the bass drum throughout this thing is just like, just perfect. It just literally sounds perfect. And honestly, that was enough to kind of keep me coming back to it. And then I listened to more of the album, and I think really where it shines, honestly, is less of the kind of pop punk type stuff and just the more general rock. And I think what actually is where it shines more is toward the second half of the album. It kind of almost turns in like an emo direction almost. Not like in the instrumentals as much, but more kind of in the vocal melodies and like just the lines and the passages kind of, I don't know what it is. It just kind of got me in that kind of that classic like emo sound that I really dig. And I think that's honestly where it's quite a bit stronger. Or for me personally, obviously this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea necessarily, but overall great album. I mean, just generally kind of sounds like a feel good like summer pop punk album, mixed with, you know, just like I said, kind of some just kind of some rock pop. I don't really know how to say the genres and stuff, but oh man. Okay, now we're in the top 5. Now this is where stuff starts getting pretty hectic. Number 5, Knocked Loose. The chair in the fabric of life. Finally, Knocked Loose is doing what I have wanted them to do forever. So I'm way more of a fan of, in terms of like heavier music, I always have dug the more like slower, like just, you know, like just dun, 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 dun. Just kind of the slower, like more like beat down. The slower it is, the heavier it is, the more I like it. And Knocked Loose has always been one of those bands where I've always really loved their production. It's super punchy. You know, especially the guitar tones are just something else. I can't think of their vocalist's name right now, but his voice, you know, just that like it literally just sounds like he's just shredding up in the studio. It's not like, you know, the super controlled, like perfect, like vocal fry screams, which I don't know the technique. Maybe it is, but he just does such a good job of his delivery of it. It just sounds like it. Anyway, I think the sound on this album is literally just like perfect, exactly what I've always wanted them to do. And it's just more deliberate and slower and like just not quite like beat down, but it's like getting there. And I'm getting hyped just thinking about it. So good. Love it. Anyway, and to kind of elaborate on what I'm talking about. So I don't really like as much of the kind of like D beats and stuff and blast beats. So like, you know, like blast beats, like, and then like D beats, you know. I've never really enjoyed that type of music as much. I mean, obviously, you know, it has its place. A lot of people do like that stuff, but I've always just considered the slower stuff to be a lot heavier. All right, let's move on. Woo! Number 4, Reptilian God Mana, Hologram Christ. Armageddon. So good. My God. I liked this album at first, and then the second time I listened to it, I liked it twice as much. And then the third time, I liked it twice as much. And it just got better and better and better with each listen. It's kind of long. I don't know, like, necessarily minutes, but I mean, it's got like, 48, 63, what is that, like 15 tracks on it, I think. So it's like, it's got a lot of long track list, right? Each of the songs are pretty short, but it's just got the versatility. You know, there's some slower stuff, there's some harder stuff. Super good, super versatile. There's a little bit of there's a Bones feature halfway through this thing. At the end, he just kind of, you know, he comes in, does his thing, his little Bonesy thing. And yeah, just overall, I really like the production. I like the lyrics. I don't typically listen to lyrics as much. When I'm listening to music, it's not something I just focus on, unless I am focused on it. Otherwise, it'll just go right past me, and I'll have no idea what a song is about. But just kind of the lore is so funny. He's kind of got like this own universe that he's building, and it's really funny, and but it's not like corny. I don't know. You just kind of have to listen to it. The other thing I'll say about this is that the production, the beats and everything, are so good. There's a lot of like, it's almost just like electronic music, kind of influencing it with you know, just what you would expect from just kind of like the trap style drums, maybe, or you know, like the dark hip hops type stuff that literally everybody is doing right now. But what sets it apart in my mind, you know, when I listen to it, what really makes me, you know, come back to it over and over again is just that some of the instrumentals, just again, that kind of like straight ahead, like electronic influence, some dance music type stuff. It's just like, it's so good. And there's a couple like beat changes on it that are just so funny and so good. Yeah, it's catchy too. It's like you listen to these songs and they don't overstay their welcome. Like I said, they're pretty short, but you get just enough for it to get kind of like stuck in your head, and then it's just gone. Time for more coffee. Ooh, Steve.
But I'll tell you what, boy, and damn, there ain't nothing better than a motherfucking.
Bless you. Do you want to come help? What are you doing? You ever listen to static before? Do you love the sound of static, distortion, and otherwise unpleasant industrial noisy sounds? Do you like distortion? Do you like scratchy? Do you like the just literal sonic embodiment of what hell must sound like? And it's funny too, and it's perfect, and it's the album that you attribute to curing your whatever you want to call it earlier this year. So funny. I listened to this album and it literally put me into a trance while I was working. It was kind of like those, do you remember those eye dosers from high school? Where it was like, you listen to this, bro, it's got like 2 frequencies. They're binaural and they'll make you get stoned off of sound. And everyone thought that was the coolest thing ever. It was a similar effect to that when I was working on some... I was working on writing music for the drum line that I work on. And it was like time was simultaneously passing at an unprecedentedly fast time, but I also wanted to kill myself the entire time I was listening to it. Check this out. I mean, once you hear if you hear like a 3-second sound clip of this, that's what the whole album sounds like. But it is also surprisingly versatile, very funny, very good. Interesting. Well, it'll be interesting to see how much I come back to this album to listen to it, but it's catchy. It's got the hooks. It's got the, those, every single song, basically the most catchy part of the song is the title of the song. So we'll just go down the list here. God's light burns upon my flesh.
God's light burns upon my flesh.
Murder ride.
Murder ride. Murder ride.
Chainsaw party.
Chainsaw party. Chainsaw party.
I'm a sinner.
I'm a sinner.
You get the idea. And it just goes and goes and goes. This is another very long listen, except that the songs are actually long as well. 15. So yeah, I guess it's same number of songs as the reptilian god Mana, but it's, oh my god, it's so funny. You expect them to end, but each song is like 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes long, and they just keep going and going and going. It's so funny. I love it. It's like, it's genre defining. There's gonna be a ton of Cemetery clones, obviously. It's like Kanye, it's like, yo dog, whatever album Kanye came out with, that's what hip-hop sounded like. It's gonna be like that. He's figured it out. It's so funny. I listened to Screaming Red Forest, whatever, and I only listened to it once. I didn't really have time. Before we get into the next 2 albums here, let me just say my disclaimer, or not my disclaimer, but my, I guess, honorable mentions. There are a couple albums that I really liked from this year, but just kind of either came out too late or I just didn't have time to listen to. So obviously that other Cemetery album. The other one, we'll skip over a lot of this, but other one, holy hell, Mouth Breather, I'm Sorry, Mr. Salesman. I'm pissed this isn't on the list, man. This is like literally, again, kind of like that perfect, honestly, one of my favorite, I don't know, like I said, I don't know genres, but like hardcore metal albums I've ever heard. It's like perfect. All the riffs and stuff are awesome. The only thing, again, that I would change is just kind of the production on the drums. I just wish that the kick was a little, like the kick and snare were a little more punchy and just had a little bit more weight to them. But honestly, just seeing what they've done with this album is like such a good sign and gets me so excited to see what they're gonna do next. And is like, yeah, they're the real deal. If you're into any sort of like heavier music, gotta check these guys out. Because they're doing it perfectly. Only real French press fans know about the mudslide at the bottom of the cup. Number 2 and number 1. Uh-oh. Two-way tie for first place. We've got Claro, Sling, and we've got Little Ugly Mane, Volcanic, Bird, Enemy, and The Voiced Concern. Let's start with Claro because I have less to say about it. It just resonated with me, man. It's just a nice, like, just soft, sad, just, you know, it's just one of those albums you just listen to, and you listen to it again, you listen to it again. It's got the guy from Bleachers, I think did a lot of the recording and the production, and it's just very, I don't know, maybe intimate, soft, nice. It almost kind of reminds me of the feeling or like the setting of the Bon Iver, the first Bon Iver album, where it's just like, you know, it's just like you and a microphone, just kind of in there doing your thing. It's kind of that really like up close, dry sounding, soft spoken. I don't know. It's just very nice. Just kind of like, like I said, I don't know genres, so I don't know if this is like pop or what you'd call this. But if you've heard Claro before, you probably kind of know what to do with this or what to call this. Just really good, nice, just through and through. I mean, it's such a nice listen. The instrumentation and the pacing of the album are really good. I do think it kind of peters off a little too much at the end. It kind of gets a little boring at the end, admittedly. That would be kind of my only gripe about it. But overall, really awesome, solid, just nice, sad album for me. And then also tied for first, oh my God, Ugly Mane.
She says I'm gonna die if I stay so preoccupied.
Wow, lot to say about this album. Obviously a super, it's like an insane release from him. You know, if you've been kind of keeping up with his stuff, it's not like out of the blue or anything. It's not like nobody expected this album to come out, but like just such a departure from Mr. Thug. So like, if you're used to that, you know, that kind of Ugly Man, you didn't really know what he was doing, and then you come to this, it's just like, what? I remember listening to the album and just being like, what? And this is obviously one of the later releases of the year. No, I don't know what to say about it. It's super, you know, it's Ugly Mane, so it's gonna have those kind of like esoteric lyrics, and it's like a little bit avant-garde, you know, in its presentation, but like I'm assuming a lot of this was sampled. It's so weird because it sounds like it was really kind of poured over, and like it sounds really deliberate and like exactly what he wanted, but it's also got so many raggedy edges, and like it just is almost like uncomfortable to listen to a little bit at first. And it feels just dirty and filthy and grimy, and like in the lyrics. And like I said, I don't usually like to listen to lyrics so much, or not, you know, not that I actively try not to, but it's just not on, you know, not something that I just pick up naturally. I kind of have to deliberately listen. But like the lyrics, you know, since they're a little bit esoteric and a little bit, you know, just not super clear in what he's getting at. But the mood is there, but it really gives you, you know, a lot of like room to kind of interpret and apply your own, what you think, whatever the hell you think he's talking about. And it's like, yeah, I do think I am the cockroach that wakes up your roommates. It's insane. Gotta listen to this album. Again, pacing, a little bit of an issue, I think. Some of the instrumental songs toward the middle, I'm not super down with. His voice, his vocals, not everyone's going to be super down with. Just the general kind of like plundery instrumentals and like what he's coming up with, not everyone's going to be down with. If you're an Ugly Mane fan, and you'd never listen to this album, I shouldn't say probably, but you might not be down with it. It's kind of seen his transition again from kind of like that dark hip hop, that 90s kind of southern hip hop sound into surfer rock or washed out like kind of rock, psychedelic, I don't know, as well as some hip hop and as well as just some like pop music. It's really good. Surfer rock isn't the right word. Don't listen to me. Gotta check it out. Gotta at least listen to a few songs here. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all that can be said. So thank you for sticking around to the end. Like I said, hopefully in the disclaimer, this is just kind of supposed to be like, hopefully just a fun video for me. And maybe you'll find some recommendations, some new music that you're into and found something. Hopefully the copyright and everything works out with this. What fill do you want me to play? Write in the comments what fill do you want me to play here. Also, sorry about the squeaking. What fill should I play? Oh, I could show you this new groove I've been working on. I haven't played the drums in like 6 weeks, so no, that's not right. No. There it is. Whatever, you get the idea. Bye.